And one thing about the esoteric field is that it's very difficult to get a foot in when you don't really know where to start. Everything looks so daunting. I just wanted to give you a couple of ideas of what books are useful to get off the starting blocks. So let's get started with Valis by Philip K. Dick. I think this is a great place to start because Philip K. Dick was clearly very well versed in various esoteric subjects, and this comes through in his writing all the time. It also makes the reader question what he or she knows about Christianity. I'll let you read it and come to your own conclusions. It's a great way to get exposed to a lot of the names and ideas that are prevalent in esoteric and occult philosophy. It's the first place where I found out about Paracelsus. It's the first place where I found out about Gnosticism and many other points. I'll let you read it. It's fantastic. Okay, the second book that I'd recommend is Prometheus Rising by Robert Anton Wilson. In fact, the third book that I'm going to recommend is Quantum Psychology, also by Robert Anton Wilson. Now, Robert Anton Wilson was an amazing guy. He was a massive rebel, and I was fortunate enough to pick up some of his books just before he died, in fact. So actually, when he died, it was a big tragedy for me. His books are the first place where I started to question what is truth and the way the things that you believe form your reality. So those two books, Quantum Psychology, Prometheus Rising, two fantastic books which explore the nature of reality and how supple reality is. Okay, next I've got The Doors of Perception, absolute classic by Aldous Huxley. I recommend getting any copy of The Doors of Perception that is followed by its less well-known sequel called Heaven and Hell. He wrote Heaven and Hell a few years later, thinking back to the experience that he had when he took 0.4 of a gram of mescaline and recorded the results in his book, The Doors of Perception. His thoughts on what happened to him are really worth reading, and they were a great foundation on which to base the rest of my understanding of what the mind is. All right, next we've got Hands-on Chaos Magic, Reality Manipulation Through the Ovaiki Current by Andrea Vitimus. This is a really nice place to start manipulating reality. It gives you everything that you need to get started without getting anywhere near spirits, okay? This has got nothing to do with angels, demons, planetary spirits, or anything like that. This is just purely you and your experience. And it's a really, really nice place to start to experience magic working. Okay, so obviously you're going to only be interested in this kind of stuff if it works. So this is a really great place to start with some very easy experiments that won't scare you into believing that you might be selling your soul or anything. By the way, if you're selling your soul, you really shouldn't be. But anyway, Chaos Magic is a light introduction to manipulating your reality and to changing your mindset and observing what happens when you change it this way or that. All right, next I've got Anything by the Gallery of Magic. Now, the Gallery of Magic are a group that have been going since the 1980s, and their objective is to make magic accessible. Now, this is really for you to get a feel for ritual magic that does involve spirits. So they've got books exclusively on angels. They've got books exclusively on demons, if that's your thing. They've got books which are neither working with angels nor demons, but rather intelligences and just benign spirits. A great one to start with is the Magickal Cashbook. Very, very simple ritual, which is unbelievably effective. So yeah, you can check that out. Again, just to get a feel for what it's like when you're actually doing the stuff without any real consequences, okay, other than positive ones, because it's always nice to find a £50 note which you asked for just 6 hours earlier. All right, next I'd recommend reading The Middle Pillar by Israel Regardie. The Middle Pillar is a description of the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, and it's such a basic ritual that, well, everyone should know. If you're intending to dig deeper into magic, this is one that you can't really get around. You have to know how to banish a spirit before you invoke a spirit, because unless you're working with the very safe rituals that I've described earlier by the Gallery of Magic or anyone else, then if you're going it alone, if you're going to be using old grimoires, for example, you want to be able to banish anything that you bring towards you, okay? You don't want to be calling on a spirit and having that spirit hang around if you don't want it to hang around. So very, very important. And in fact, it will introduce you to the idea of regular ritual. The lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram is something that some practitioners like to do on a daily basis, just as a hygiene thing. It's recommended, in fact, to do it on a daily basis. The middle pillar is actually a ritual itself, and it's described after the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. The middle pillar is kind of what to do next once you've completely mastered the LBRP, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, and you've been doing it regularly for 6 months, say, and you are starting to reap the benefits of doing that on a daily basis. Then the middle pillar ritual is, well, the next thing to do, and that's included in that book. So you're getting 2 amazing rituals for the price of 1. Next, I recommend anything by Lon Milo Duquette, in fact. I would start off with the Chicken Qabalah, not because it's the most entertaining of the books. I would suggest that possibly something like Low Magic is more entertaining, although the Chicken Qabalah is very entertaining. I can't think of a single one of his books that aren't entertaining. He's a born teacher, and although his depth of knowledge is incredible, he somehow manages to make this information palatable, interesting, and light-hearted. Which is an amazing feat of magic in itself. Once you've read the Chicken Qabalah, which is a great introduction to Hermetic Kabbalah or Kabbalah, I recommend reading Son of Chicken Qabalah, which is the sequel that came out just last year. And what that is an introduction to initiation. It is, in fact, a 3-part initiation in itself. So if you're not involved with a lodge or an organization of magicians and you want to do this on your own, then the Son of Chicken Qabalah is the perfect book to accompany you on that solo path. And then finally, the final book that I would recommend is simply The Golden Dawn by Israel Regardie. You've got all the papers that were used to initiate the members of the Golden Dawn through the different degrees. And this is all the stuff that got Aleister Crowley started on his own career. So if you're interested in Thelema, then I strongly recommend that you first of all get a strong understanding of what the Golden Dawn papers contain. It'll introduce you to so many aspects, from alchemy to Egyptian magic to Hebrew letters. So there you go. Those are my recommendations if you want to get into esoteric knowledge, if you want to get into the occult without necessarily joining a group, if you want to just study it, find out more about it. Those are the books with which I would start. I hope that has been useful for you. You can check the details below. I've got links to every single one of those books. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. That would really help me. And see you very soon with another review, no doubt. Take care. Bye.